I think like people, like when you're happy and everything's going well, like you usually like it it involves being in a crowd or being with someone else, like laughing at a film or like enjoying a few pints, and it's like it's kind of a collective experience. But when you're like when you're kind of like depressed or a bit sad, it's kind of a lonely experience, and I think that's where music can like help people to maybe feel like it's like they can identify with something and they go, right, I'm not alone on this. So I think that's why sadder songs tend to just work a bit better.
Okay, here we go.
Good night, dear. I'm so glad you're here to keep all my troubles away. Do you think that if I'd waited for the next train, maybe we'd have married this year? I had hoped that I'd hear from you for another beer before I had to leave the next day.
There was a girl I met in Berlin. Went on a bit of a lads' holiday, and they went off to a different pub, and I was like, nah, I'm staying here, I gotta talk to that girl. So went over and chatted her up, and I spent like a good hour and a half chatting this girl up. And like it was like when it came to the time where it was go for the kill, she was like, oh no, I have a boyfriend. I was like, spent. Can't believe it, like. But I was like, fuck it, I've been having a good laugh with this girl, I'm gonna just hang around with her for the rest of the night or whatever, and that's grand. And she was kind of like of a similar opinion. She was like, like don't just leg it, stick around, we're having a good laugh, whatever. So we kind of went to 4 or 5 more pubs, and we got like really, really drunk. And it was like, at the end of it, we were both getting the same train, but in different directions. And it was kind of really cheesy, but it was, I don't know, I think everyone's had those, like, you meet someone on holidays and you go, this would be deadly. But out of any of them that I've had, this was the one where, like, it didn't involve anything more than just having a good laugh with someone. And that was kind of what was cool about it, was like, it was a total hypothetical situation, like reflecting on it, going, what could have been or whatever. So that's where that came out of.
I'm embarrassed to say that when we were standing in the rain, all of my worries left me. I'd say now you can see that when I left you in that way, I knew that I'd be making your day.
I think I like the last kind of verse the best, because I was working on it for ages, and I still didn't kind of nail what I was trying to say. But it's the I've wished you were here, but it's so long, dear. We both knew it ended this way. It's because it was basically just the boyfriend thing. We kind of, after we discovered that, after I found out she had a boyfriend, we both knew that like that was the end of it. And I think generally when that happens, it's like someone meets someone on holidays and they go out with them for like whatever the whole extent of the holiday, and they come home and try and make it work maybe and whatever, but like in the end you kind of both know like that's meant, it was on holidays, we were both in a different frame of mind, everything was like that. But in this one it was kind of like just an extra little hint of like whatever, I might be wishing this girl's here, but I didn't actually know anything about her. I can't remember her name.
I've wished you were here, it's so long, dear. We both knew it ended this way. So it's good night, dear. I'm so glad you're here to keep all my bad dreams away.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Michael.
Not nearly as much banter as you were expecting after that, eh?
So I was kind of messing around for ages and ages, and I kind of like the I'm embarrassed to say was kind of a get out clause, was because I was like, there's not really any other way of saying this, but I kind of cringing that I'm saying it in a song, and I kind of felt with that line that I wasn't being really pretentious or like, you know, trying to say something that wasn't true or whatever, and it was just, this is the simplest and most honest way I can say this. So even though it was kind of a little bit cringy, so I was like, or a little bit cheesy rather than cringy, so I was kind of, I always do find it like a little bit embarrassing, like standing in the rain, like fucking fuck off.